What's up guys, GV here, and I got another StarCraft 2 replay for you. So I'm spawning up here as the red Terran Neo Geo, and my opponent is the blue Zerg spawning on the bottom left hand. His name is Iceman, like the X-Men, and we got some early commentating. He's like, good luck, and I'm like, have fun, because we're playing StarCraft 2, and it's all for good fun. This is ladder. I think this is in platinum, maybe late gold, so not bronze, not silver, maybe gold, maybe silver. And yeah, so we pretty much just starting off early doing our heavy resource mining. I don't know why. There he is. He's going to build a supply depot. And let's put up the production tab. So I got my supply depot. He's a little ahead of me with his overlord, but I'm still producing SCVs. We're both at 10, so not too bad of a slip up for me there. Zerg is supposed to be ahead by a little bit, so good for him. And he's got an early drone scout. I do not have my scout yet, but I do have my supply depot done. He's got his overlord done. We cross paths right there, and I don't know why I did this, because it's not like he's gonna build a hatchery like right here and then try and do some cheese in my base as Zerg. So he tries to kill my SCV, but he's too evasive. Look at these maneuvers, crossing through the building, and yeah, so my SCV is just gonna chase this drone out of here and trying to make sure he doesn't scout any early build order from me. Because all he really knows right now is like, oh, he's a Terran player, he's gonna wall, what else is he gonna do? He's Terran. But yeah, that's that. So if we look at the units, 11 SCVs to 12 drones. He's got 2 overlords on the way, or 2 overlords done. I've got my second barracks completing my wall. And yeah, it's pretty standard. He's got his hatchery going up. He's getting an early expansion before spawning pool. 13 hatchery. I know most people will go for 14, but he decides to get that at 13, throwing down the spawning pool. And I'm gonna scout this spawning pool, so I personally think like, oh, well, he's probably just gonna get like Zerglings and rush into my base. So I decided to get some Marines, and I decided to I had this crazy scouting thing over here. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I decided to scout the natural, and yes, I do finally see that he is getting that early expansion. So I decide that, oh, he's gonna have a spawning pool, he's gonna have early lings on the field. I'm gonna get my orbital command. I'm gonna need minerals. I'm gonna need some stuff. So I produce some Marines here. I get my orbital command. I'm gonna get my gas because I know that if he's getting this, he's gonna get Bailings probably, and I'm going to need concussive shot to deal with that. Because I don't know if you guys know, but Bailings totally destroy Marines. That is like the perfect counter. If you get creep spread, centrifugal hooks, and you just roll Bailings into a Marine army, you are going to be dead. But I do continue to produce Marines because I'm pro like that. And I'm going to get my other third barracks much sooner in this game than I did my last game. Getting my second gas. Oh, this is something I should have mentioned. I get my supply depot here because this is so annoying. I don't know if you've ever been playing and a Protoss puts a pylon right here, or he flies in a warp prism and lands it right here, or a Zerg puts a Nidus worm right here, and you can't see in there if you don't have a building there. It's just grayed off because of this high shrubberies or whatever this is right here. So a good suggestion is maybe put a supply depot there, a pylon there. I think he puts his overlord. Yeah, he's got an overlord there. Make sure I don't, medevac, Marines, anything right there. But back to the game. He's got 1 gas, but he does have the early expansion, getting a little bit of static defense. I got a little bit of static defense too. I was a little worried that there was going to be some sort of Zergling push, but he just has these ones out here scouting. And if you look at the units, he's got 21 drones to my 18 SCVs, but I have 7 Marines to his 4 Zerglings. And I do have this mule, so the one good thing about playing Terran is if you do get this orbital command early, even if you fall behind in the SCV count, you can use this mule to get more resources quicker. So because of that, I'm able to get my 4th barracks, and he's only a little bit high. Look at that Zergling, he got owned. But yeah, so that's what I do. I'm a little behind in supply, but that's normal. As a Terran, you're going to want to be, no more than 1 base behind a Zerg player, and maybe 5, 10, units behind, it's okay, because most of his units, like, look, he's got 34 drones and only 3 Zerglings, so, I mean, he's using 2 supply for those 3 Zerglings when he could kill 1 more Zergling for scouting or do something like that, but he decides, you know what, I don't need that extra supply, and I've caught up already, because also when Zerg builds buildings like these extractors, they lose drones, so they lose supply. But what I noticed is he's spending all of his queen energy on inject larva, getting his layer tech at 7 minutes into the game, and he's not spreading his creep. Like, he could have used 1 queen to do inject larva and another queen to drop a creep tumor, link these 2 bases, started a creep highway up into my base. For those of you who don't know, like, Zerg units like move faster on creep, so you want to have like as much creep on the map as you can if you're playing as Zerg. But I decide that I'm going to mass up my Terran infantry because, let's be honest, that's what all good Terran players do. Spam the A, spam the D, get your Marines and Marauders out as fast as possible, throwing down some supply depots, not to be supply blocks, because look how close I am, 50 out of 51, that is insane. You never want to be that close to being supply block. Finally going ahead. Now this is where I think that his macro slipped. Like, he was so worried about getting, there's the Baling Nest. So he could possibly get Balings, but if you think about it, why would you put this here? Like, yeah, you've got these 2 spine crawlers here, but I would say 95% of StarCraft 2 players, when they go out for their first push, are going to try and attack the expansion, because it's closer. It's closer rush distance. If I lift up this barracks, lift up the supply depot, move out with this, and attack these spine crawlers, he's got nothing. He's got 3 Zerglings, he's producing a Spire and an Evo chamber, so maybe he's trying to, like, why would you get all 3 of these at the same time, though? Like, you're either going to go Mutas, or you're going to transition into Roach Hydra and use these evolution chambers. But he got both, so more power to him. His main's really saturated. Like, how many? 44 drones? Wow, I really fell behind in the worker production. But he does have this Baling Nest up, but only 3 Zerglings, so, like, look at this. Like, he's got twice as many workers as I do, but we're pretty equal when it comes to resources. And he gets the Spore Crawler in here. I guess he thought that I was going to do some air, but I didn't tech to air. Mostly just got these units right here, Marauder Marine Compensation. Do have the Concussive Shot, and I do have the shields that gives Marines 10 extra health, which is going to come in handy. Here comes the first push. I'm going to come in here, take out these Spine Crawlers. These are deadly, deadly, deadly to Marine infantry. Tries to get a good surround. I've got my units concave right here. We can't get a really good surround with these Zerglings, so I'm going to hold this off easily, turning those Zerglings into goo with my Marines. He did not use any of those Zerglings to turn into Balings. He did work on centrifugal hooks. He runs these Zerglings up here. Maybe going to transform them into Balings. No, I'm just going to hold off. I think he's going to sacrifice this expansion. He has one coming up right here. He can afford to lose this. Going to take out all these drones, though. Look how bad that is. He had almost twice as many drones to my SCVs. Now he's just about equal. In fact, with these mule ability, I'm actually going to pull ahead in the resources because of this. Trying to use these Zerglings, does not want me to march into his main base. Does not choose to turn them into Balings, however, so this is going to come out. He's hatching at a very bad time for me. I might lose this battle right here. Yes, he's going to hold this off for now. Look at those Zerglings. Not able to take out the Baling Nest, so Centrifugal Hook is going to finish, but not having any drones right here. All his drones are at his main base. This is way too saturated. He does not have Balings. He does have the Spire up, so if he wanted to, he could transition to air, but he knows I'm going for a heavy Marine build, and Marines are a very good counter to Mutalisks, but I do have Stim Pack. Look at that. So maybe I'm not as noob as I thought. Stim Pack to keep up with that fast Muta speed. I probably could salvage this bunker to get the extra minerals, because I think I've got him in a pretty defensive stand. He's getting to try and get this expansion back and running, but he only has 10 Zerglings. I already have 11 Marines to 7 Marauders. He only has 1 Queen on the field. And he really, really needs to get more queens. Like, that is your best friend as a Zerg player, because you can use it to spread creep, you can use it to heal your buildings, you can use it to inject larvae. There's so much stuff you can do. Those queens are so versatile. And I'm still producing off 1 base. And at this point, I get my factory, and I'm gonna get my expansion. I built my command center up here because I was so noob. I did not have enough room to build it right here to fly over here. But I'm trying to get rid of some of my units. I'm trying to keep the pressure on. I'm trying to go maybe Thors. I'm gonna get the starport. I think I wanted to get Ravens actually because Ravens are so fun. I thought he might get infestors, and if those are burrowed, you need detection, and you can't just rely on your orbital command because I'm using that for mules. So I push out here. He has a spore crawler, but I have no air, so he's just going to run it over here. Look how cute they are when they run. So I'm just going to take this stuff out. He has no defense for it, so now I know he's not going to get any Bailings. And this is cheap right here. Look at these broodlings. Like, you kill a Zerg building, they get these free units to attack. I'm reinforcing my army. But yeah, I think that's so cheap. Whoa, I did not know he had this much stack defense when I pushed him right now. Like, look at this. How many? What is that, 5? 5 spine crawlers. But little Stimp, Peck is going to be the perfect counter to this. Just sniping these spine crawlers down. Making sure I'm killing the one that's finished first. Keeping my units, trying not to ball them up too much in case he does have some Bailings pre-made. If he didn't have any Bailings made, gonna go into the drone line, try and take this out as best as I can. He played very well if I would have maybe done a Destiny Cloud build, but since I did go early, there's the GG. Since I did go early Mass Marine Marauder, he wasn't prepared for it. If he would have spent some more time scouting and knowing that I was gonna get not all these barracks, maybe went 1-1-1 and to tech up, but I chose not to do that. I decided to get the early barracks, decided to go Mass Marine Marauder, and he did not get the mutas out, he did not get the Bailings out. He did outbase me, but as a Terran, you know, it was like 3 base to 2 base, 1 to 2 most of the time, and as a Terran, it's okay to be 1 base down. But it was a fun game. I did really well on my orbital command this time. I feel like I improved on my last game. And my next game will be a TVT, a mirror matchup, so you guys will have plenty of fun looking forward to that. So stay classy, and have a good day. Bye.